So, through 7 games, the Oklahoma City Thunder haven't just been good, they've been undefeated, 7-0. And right at the center of it all is Shai Gilgeous Alexander, a player who turns basketball into pure art. Some will call him overrated, some will call him lucky, but what you can't call him is unprepared. Shai's opened up the season averaging 33 points, 6 assists and 5 rebounds on a ridiculous 63% true shooting percentage. And that right there is not just production, that's precision. Every time he steps on the floor it's like a chess match, and Shai's out here moving pieces while everyone else is still learning the board. When most people see a set defense to stop them from driving, Shai is the one who sees another angle that's perfect to take, and that's when he uses the handle to switch up the route to get inside. Other times when he has the big on him who he could beat to the rim, it's very likely that most players want to beat him off the dribble, but with there being a higher chance of the shot being blocked, this is when you initiate that contact to get into that butterball over the top. And hey, if you guard him up tight while sending a man to close off that gap to take away any drive, well, he'll gladly step back into that jumper for straight cash. Pretty much whatever he wants to do, he brings to fruition. Whether it's breaking you down one step at a time, torching you from deep, or just living in that mid-range where few dare to go anymore. Most will chalk up his game to foul baiting when he's attacking, but it's much better described as manipulation. As he comes up the floor here, Shai slows it down like he's giving the defender a chance to breathe, but then he bursts right down the middle of the lane out of nowhere, and there's no one there to stop him at the rim. That change of pace of Shai's, when added with a slight handle, is just enough to throw a defender off his route so he can attack downhill with aggression, and with no worry about a bigger defender, he's able to use that left hand to place this high off the glass over Cooper for 2 points. When we talk about change of pace, it's not as simple as just switching gears every time, as the defense can tend to pick up on that. So here's where you have to analyze the floor to see the gaps to blow up. If you look at the court here, when Shai pushes the ball to his left hand, Shepherd is ready to guard the drive going left. But this here is all a setup, because as we all can see, the right side is wide open to pursue. So this is where you not only switch the pace, but you also change directions to beat the defender, and with nothing left to do, the defense is forced to foul, giving up the and one. Time and time again, defenders find themselves in terrible positions, as here Shai isn't necessarily a deadly 3-point shooter, so when coming off this screen, Obi Toppin should be 1 or 2 steps back, giving himself some more room to be able to react. Well, since that didn't happen, this allows Shai to pick and choose what he wants to do once he hits that accelerator. He could continue down this right side to attack hard to the basket, or he could cross over to the left to cut back towards the middle. As we roll the clip, you're going to see Shai keep it simple by continuing forward, and I'm sure you all see what I see, and that's Siakam rotating over for the help. This here's where basketball is all about understanding that you can beat your defender, and that your main focus should now be on how to beat the second line of defense. For Shai, he bumps off Toppin to create the separation, and when he gets the ball in the glass, he does it quick while placing it high so he can avoid the block. Yeah, when we break it down, you can see that there's much more that goes into his attacking when it comes to pace change, as sometimes he has to slow it down to allow the defense to release, and now when the next help defenders think they're going to close in on him, here's where he activates that quick move specialist badge, using that spin move to get inside for the easy one. By now, you should see how special his gear shifts can be, but let me ask you something, do you think that tells the full story? Well, I hope not, because if you assume all you have to do is stop the pace change to shut him down, you would be sadly mistaken. You'll have defenders jam him up when he does try and initiate a drive a certain way, but this here is what we call court navigation, as sometimes you have to reuse the screen so it can be effective going the other way, and when it looks like you're going to run into no man's land with the defense closing in near the basket, here's where that acrobatic up and under comes into play to fool the defense. I already know some people are going to cry about hiding behind screens, but it's actually a key setup for better results. On this play, he shifted Westbrook with a behind the back before a screen was even in play. But look here, now that Shai has started to attack left, it leads Russ right into Hartenstein to get jammed up. At this point, Shai could gun to the rim, but that would be a little reckless as he already has Sabonis waiting on him. So he instead chooses to stay at a steady pace while cutting into Russ's space when he goes for the back tap, and now the short push shot off the glass is money. Other times, Shai will have no choice but to go right into the bigger defender and just move them off the spot completely to get what he wants, but a lot of the time, he can use his navigation skills to his advantage to get to the rim for 2 points. Now listen, we all know Shai is an amazing slasher who can practically get to the rim whenever he feels like it, but what truly starts the separation from him opposed to other guards is that he can start to dissect you in that in-between area when he gets in his flow state. As most of you already know, Shai has this stun gun that he keeps in handy when he attacks, so if the defender wants to get aggressive, he can go ahead and defuse the situation. If it's a defender his size, he'll all out move them to create space to rise up over the top, and if it happens to be a guy much larger than him, he'll flow that stiff arm into a slight sidestep to connect on a 15-foot jumper. When you look around the league, it's not a lot of guards who will use their sweet time before getting to their spot, and even when they do, they're not using their full body to all out move defenders to open themselves up for an easier bucket. This here comes from not being scared of contact and basically just forcing the issue himself. But trust and believe, it's not the only way Shai gets open in this area, because other times it won't be all out brute force that moves the defender, as he'll use a slight push off to bounce off like we seen earlier, and although Mathurin is right there on him, Shai is already rising into his shot, so it's pretty hard to contest without fouling at this point. As you start to pay attention, you'll notice that not only can Shai step back on a dime, but he also flows right into his shot as he lands straight up and down, and this is how he's able to get his shot off quicker than the defense can contest. It's not necessarily that it's something special and magical, but what it is pure mastery. While most guys will try to continue attack going left here with the lane pretty much wide open, Shai is the one to use that sidestep to drop in 2 points from mid-range, and on this play, I agree with a lot of you when it comes to him getting some questionable calls. But this is why it's important to not only master your skill set, but also to master the art of selling. Because when Shai plans hard to sidestep, he understands defenders will start to bite on that. So he uses the pump fake to get Mathurin in the air, and here's where the complaints come in. With this ref here being the one to make the call due to this being his zone, Shai is now blocking the view of the ref to see the whole play. Now I'm not saying that Shai thought of this exactly and knew to sidestep right over there so he could be in front of the ref. No, I'm not saying none of that. But what I am saying is that Shai understands that he has to sell the foul so the ref can make a decision whether or not to call it. And when you end up in a zone where the ref's view is partially blocked, they're gonna give you the call 8 out of 10 times when you're a superstar in the league.
Gilgeous Alexander draws the foul, banklets home, and one.
Yeah, I know, it's irritating. So before some of you get mad, let's talk about something more ethical. Such as when Shai's attacking up the floor here, he used the in and out to bait the steal on the sideline to then shift CJ with the behind the back. And like I said earlier, it's not about the first defender since you know you can beat them. It's all about that help defender. So this is when Shai pushed the ball towards his left to make the defender lean that way, only to then spin off quick going towards the right, and bada bing, it's money team. This handle of Shai might not get talked about as one of the best in the league or anything, but he does a solid job of moving defenders off his route to get to his spots on the floor, and when you combine that handle with his court navigation and then mix in that stun gun as well, this is when defenses have a nightmare guarding him. All this here makes him one of the most unpredictable guys to guard, because even if it's not the handle or the navigation on the floor, he'll stay patient while posting you up instead, and I mean really, there's no stopping this. To average 30 points a night means you're highly consistent on an elite level, and for elite players, they tend to continue improving their game. So for all those seasons where defenses weren't highly concerned about his 3-point shooting, well now, if you don't step up, you're getting shot down. Now hold on, this isn't me saying that Shai is some deadly 3-point shooter whatsoever, but the thing is, Shai doesn't mind launching it from deep when needed, and that right there makes him even more dangerous. Last season, Shai shot 37% from deep, which is solid. So hopefully this season, we can see him build on that even further. Trust me, this 7-0 start for the Thunder isn't just luck, because when the game starts to speed up for everyone else, Shai slows it down. He's not just reacting to the chaos as he's controlling it. It's not about how fast you can move on the court. It's about how calm you are in the middle of the storm. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and it really helps if you watch the videos all the way through so I can get pushed in the algorithm. I hope you all have a great day, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.